Hello everyone, my name is Kevin Bruni. I'm the Athletic Director at Grand Rapids Christian Middle School. Thank you for joining us today for this film. It's designed to help you navigate athletics this year at Grand Rapids Christian. If you have any questions, please let me know. As we get started, I want to tell you about GRCMS. It's the league that we're a part of. You'll hear this phrase used quite a bit throughout the year, and I wanted you to know what it's referring to. It's the league that we belong to, and the reason we're a part of it is because it has 5th and 6th grade sports in addition to 7th and 8th. So all of our kids at the middle school are able to participate. We do not participate in all of our sports through GRCMS, only a few, but they do a great job of helping us. They provide game schedules for us. So sometimes at the start of a year, you will be interested in saying, hey, when is our game? What does the schedule look like? And unfortunately, I'm waiting on GRCMS to give me that information. As soon as I get it, I produce it for the coaches and for you and put it on our website that day. So please know I'm trying to get you game schedules as quickly as possible. They provide some practice guidelines and rules. In addition, there is an admission fee at GRCMS events, whether you're at home or away, and we'll talk more about that later. My tip for you is to join the text hotline by texting hotline to 84483. They give you game cancellations and updates on the league. It is a very valuable thing to be a part of. The website is listed at the top. Middle School Booster Club. When you think of the Middle School Booster Club, think of it as middle school PTO. The reason that we have this situation set up is that after we pay for everything using our athletics budget, there's about $2,600 left for our 53 to 55 teams we have each school year. That doesn't leave us much money to equip our teams with proper uniforms, equipment, and the supplies needed to run events. So how do we raise money for athletics? Two main ways. Number one, as I mentioned before, games have an entry fee. Each game that we host, we get to use some of the entry fee money to help supplement our programs. So go to games, cheer for your kids and grandkids, and have a great time. And please, with a smile, know that you're supporting our program by buying that $3 or $2 ticket. All kids are free, but if the adults pay, that really helps boost our program. The second thing is, since your kids are free, please give them a few dollars to buy food at the concession stand. The PTO and Vicki Gelderloos are willing to split the money at the concession stand that's raised between the school educational environment and the athletic environment. And so that partnership has been very good for us. They need your help to help run the concession stand. So please go to games and email Vicki and tell her how you're willing to be involved. That's the main way that we're able to provide quality things for your kids in the athletic program. Why kids play middle school sports. Did a little research about this to make sure that I had the right frame of mind for my coaches and myself with how to work with and administer athletics to our kids. I share it with you because I think it's important for parents to remember as well. True Sport Report does an annual report on youth athletics in America. A couple of things I want to highlight. Number one, the main motivators for kids for joining middle school athletics was fun, being social with their friends, and enjoying time together. Fun and social interaction. 8 out of 10 on that list was winning. That's an external motivator, something that can change all the time. But fun and social interaction, those are internal motivators for kids, and that's important for us to remember. They play because they want to have fun and they want to be with their friends, not because they want to win. Some of your kids want to win, most importantly, but not all. So it's important for us to get our mind around that. Things that demotivated students and ended up with them quitting was that it wasn't fun anymore. They got too much pressure from their coaches and parents to perform well and to win. And that allowed them to have bad experiences. And we all know that bad experiences turn into not wanting to play. So my encouragement to you and to our coaches is remember why kids are playing. Having fun, being social with friends. Winning is not the most important thing to them, and it shouldn't be the most important thing to us. Let's motivate them to be a part of middle school athletics. Academic eligibility. As we remember, kids are playing athletics for fun and because they like to do it with friends. More importantly, they're here to learn. So the process of academic eligibility for athletics is run by the principal and the staff. And if there's any sort of suspension or anything like that, it will always begin on a Monday and end on a Saturday. So just to quickly explain, probation, ineligibility, and being dismissed from the team. If the student reaches step 2 more than one time during a single season, they'll be removed from the team automatically. What's important to note about these eligibility policies is that the teaching team will communicate with your student and with me. I will relay the information to you. There will always be deadlines for when things have to be done, or a step in this process will occur. And if your son or daughter is able to meet those deadlines and stay up to date on their work and not fall behind again, then they will be all set. So they're given an opportunity to complete things. If they don't, they go on probation Monday through Saturday. If they don't finish everything during that time, they become ineligible the following week. And so on. If there's more questions about this, please let me know. The main thing to know is that we are here to support your child in learning in the educational environment. Our teaching teams do a fantastic job helping your child stay on track. And last year we only had one time where a student had to go on probation. Congratulations to the students and to the teaching teams for working with our kids and making sure that they're completing what they need to be successful in academics at Grand Rapids Christian Middle School. If you have questions about this, please let me know. Supportive parenting. I want to start by talking about our coaches. They work for, in the end, at the end of a season, very little per hour. We are very lucky to have the great coaches that we have. I interview each of them. They care deeply about the sport that they're involved in and mentoring your child, teaching them about the game, but also teaching them about their Christian walk and about life. Please understand they're not perfect. They may not know every single thing, but they're doing the best that they can. Please treat them with grace and with honor. Second, you'll be getting coach emails each week. They should give you a lot of information about what they're doing with spiritual development, the schedule for the week, things to remember, and they're also asked to communicate with you through these emails. If you have questions, please communicate back to them in email. It's very appropriate to do so, especially about the logistics of the season. Devotions. Our coaches are in charge of spiritual development for your child. However, we have loved having parents at our high school level participate in devotions, meaning a parent chooses to talk to the kids about something that's on their heart or something that's important to them that they've learned about their spiritual walk, that they want to make sure they imprint on our athletes. So please, speak with your coach about how you can be a part of spiritual development for the kids if it's something that you feel called to do. Fourth on the list is cheering for all of our kids. Remember, in the stands, you're around all of our people. And if Johnny makes a mistake in the game, Johnny's parents and friends and family are sitting near you. So please cheer for all of our kids. One thing to remember that's important is to be positive or neutral towards our opponents and the officials. If you don't have anything good to say, just discipline yourself to bite your tongue. It's a really important skill that we have to learn. And as a Christian community, every time that we step into a gym, onto an athletic field, people are judging us and wondering, how are these Christians going to mess up? How are we going to be able to knock them down? We would love to be a positive community, a community that when we leave, people say, wow, that was such a great experience for us to be in a gym with that school. Their kids behaved well, the coaches behaved well, the parents were supportive and positive. I think sometimes the best way that we can show our faith and our belief in Christ and the way that He teaches us to live is to be positive and to stay away from negativity and anger and frustration, but to just be positive. So my advice is Don't speak to officials unless you're encouraging them. Don't speak to other coaches. Don't speak to our coach unless you have something positive to say. Otherwise, hold your tongue. It's a discipline that a lot of us need to work on. I know I certainly do. But please, positive or neutral towards our opponents. Don't approach coaches from other teams. Don't approach our coaches at the games. Please find a more proper way, and we'll discuss that in a moment. So how do we communicate appropriately with coach? It's important, as one of my favorite verses, Matthew 18:15 says, if your brother or sister sins, go and point out their fault, but just between the two of you. Don't yell it out in the stands, please. It is very appropriate to ask to speak to a coach, the next day after a game, to bring things to light, to ask clarifying questions. Those things are all appropriate, and we want you to interact with our coaches. It typically helps develop a better bond when it's done in a positive way. But please, don't tell everyone else what the coach is doing wrong in your eyes. Don't tell everyone else what the players are doing wrong or how your daughter or son is not getting what they deserve. Take that to coach. Be biblical. Follow what the word tells us. And then we have in our handbook, we have a structure, and we believe biblical structure on how to handle conflict and concern. Most importantly, we want to teach our children, and this is hard at middle school level, but it's a great thing to teach them. If you have an issue with someone, as the verse says, have the player talk to the coach first. The issue is between the player and the coach. Even if it's something you've noticed, ask your son or daughter to approach coach. It helps them develop character, helps them develop the ability to speak with adults appropriately. And most of the time, 90% of those times, it's solved right there. If for some reason it's not, then it's appropriate to set a meeting between you, the player, and the coach. All three involved. A lot of times I have parents come to me and say, oh, I don't want my son to know I'm talking to you. I'd like to meet with you, but I don't want my daughter to know that I'm speaking to you. Again, we want to be biblical. Let's bring the people involved to the situation. It develops character, it develops understanding, and it develops trust. When one of those people is missing, trust cannot be developed. So we just pray and hope that you will follow those guidelines. And if sometimes, 1% of the time, that doesn't solve the issue, I'm available to be involved, but all four of us will be in attendance. Again, developing trust, developing understanding, and honoring the word of the Lord and how he desires for us to work through conflict. So again, that's what we would hope, and we hope that you can join us in a journey of helping develop character and biblical principles in your child's life. The importance of the website. The website is located at the address you see on your screen. I encourage you to use this website as a resource for scheduling, maps, handbook, and a variety of other things. There's pictures posted, there's information. Please use this website first as a way to get the information that you need. I want to take you through a couple of things that you see on your screen online so that you can see exactly what we're talking about. If we go to www.grcs.org, GRCMS Athletics Home, as you see on the screen there, takes you to this page. This is our athletics webpage for the middle school. You'll see the handbook. I encourage you to take a few moments. It's not long. Look at the sections that you're wondering about and just make sure that you're up to date on what's happening there. Second, athletics calendar. I would like to show you a little bit about the calendar. This is a very important part of the program. If you click on it, you'll see this screen here. I always use the agenda view because it seems to clarify things by day for me. It's much simpler for my look. Again, it's up to you. But here's how you use it. On Monday 29th is when we start athletics. And so you'll see the first week, we have everybody practicing together because we have to separate teams equally. We'll talk about team formation later on in the presentation. Once we have that done, GRCMS is the middle school on Chesaning. ES is on Iroquois, about 2 miles from this building. And Evergreen is about a mile from here on Griggs and Rosewood. But you'll notice here that the first week we have group 6th grade volleyball. Soccer, 7th and 8th grade, and it tells you where practice is. If you look at the next week, you start to see last names. This is what you're going to be used to looking for. You're going to look for your coach's last name, and then when they practice and where they practice. So this one would mean that Elzinga's team and Nordeweer's team are practicing at the same time, 3:15 at GRCES. So both teams will be in that gym. This one means that Coach Lucky's team will be practicing at 3:15 at the middle school. And just Coach Lucky's team will be there. So the final one that's a little bit confusing, and you'll see this with Voss and Towsley for 7th and 8th grade soccer as well, is that we have one coach that coaches multiple teams. So Mr. DeBoer coaches the blue team and the black team in middle school volleyball, 5th grade. So sometimes you'll see DeBoer blue/black. That means they're both practicing in the gym at that time. Sometimes you'll see DeBoer blue, and on a different day you'll see DeBoer black. That means that only that team on one day, only that team on the other day. If you have questions about the schedule, please let your coach know or let me know. This is a great resource. When you click on this, and this is not a game, but if this was a game, it would have a map. So if you clicked more details, you would be able to see a map on how to get to the game in this view. Please use those maps as a way to help you out. Also on here are athletic forums. From time to time, we will post articles and things that are of interest that we want you to read. Take a look at those. They're a great resource. And the last thing I want to show you is signups. They happen in the fall, winter, and spring, and there's always a deadline. Because of GRCMS, we have a deadline we have to meet where we have to tell them how many teams we're going to have in the league at each sport. So this is very important. When you click on this, it has some information that you should read through because there's an agreement that you're a part of when you sign up for this. It always has on this list what we're signing up for. If you need to sign up for something different, there's always going to be a link to that sign up. Please sign your child up and make sure that you type in your email address correctly or you won't get communications. Type in your phone number correctly or you won't get communications from myself or the coach. If you have other questions, please let us know. Again, remember that GRCMS has a website as well at www.grcms.com. And it looks like this. This is, again, for the web, for the entire league. There's a lot of information on here. And again, I encourage you to sign up for their text hotline. It's very important. But you feel free to use some of the links around here as well to get information about the league. Transportation. Grand Rapids Christian does not provide transportation to or from athletic events at the middle school. The only exception we have is that we have the ability to help students get from our Chesaning building to either Evergreen or Grand Rapids Christian Elementary School for their 3:15 practices. If your child has a later practice than that, they need to go home first or to a friend's house before they come back at the 4:45 time. We don't have childcare for them at either location, and so we cannot protect them or keep them safe. And so it's important that if they have a later practice that they go home or go to a friend's house first and that they're brought back. If they have the 3:15 practice, they can take their regularly scheduled bus to that facility. Or if they don't have busing, which a variety of our students do not, they can ride the bus listed below. If they need a ride to Evergreen, they can ride bus 18 on any day that they need to get to Evergreen for practice. If they need to go to the elementary school, they would ride bus 15. Our coaches will assist with helping students get on those buses the first time each season, and after that, it's up to the kids to make sure that they're getting on the correct bus to get them to the practice that they need. Additionally, please pick up your kids on time. Many of our coaches have class or have jobs, and they work odd hours to make ends meet. And so we just ask that you please pick your kids up on time so that our coaches are feeling like their time is being respected by families as well. Their job is to end practice on time, the time they say. So please help honor that by picking them up on time. If you need to know where off-site locations are, again, use our website, use that schedule function, and click on the maps. Our home event locations are located throughout the southeast side. Grams Christian Middle School, elementary school, and high school, Evergreen, Gainey, and Calvin College for swimming. Team formation. An important part of middle school athletic directing is helping coaches form teams that are equal and appropriate at each of our grade levels. A couple things to know. We do have sign-up deadlines that are hard for GRCMS and for our school. Our school's sign-up deadline comes first. We have to know how many kids we have, so we know how many teams to create. GRCMS needs to know how many teams we have so they can create schedules for us. So there's deadlines for each. You will see that the winter sign-up comes out the end of September, early October. It feels early, but again, we have deadlines that we have to meet. You saw how to sign up online. Please make sure you use that tool to get your child signed up. We want to be financial stewards that are pleasing to God. And when we have people sign up on time, we're able to plan how many coaches and how many teams to have. And that's a financial commitment. We have a league fee for every team. Coaching costs a couple $1,000s for our coaches. And we have uniforms to make sure that we have for all of the kids. So knowing in advance is really important for us. If people come in late after the deadline and want to play, unfortunately, we cannot accept that because we have to be stewards of our financial situation, making the most of the budget that's been provided to us, and knowing how many teams we're going to have and how many coaches we need to hire. Thank you for signing up on time. Now, with the actual team formation, in 5th through 7th grade, we try to create teams of equal ability. Many factors go into consideration with how we create those teams. We do the best that we can with the information that we have. So communicating with coaches about things you'll be missing or the challenges that your family has is really important for us as we form teams. And our main goal is to create equal ability teams in the 5th through 7th grade level. Some 8th grade teams, based on the way the league is set up, will have developmentally appropriate divisions within that grade. For example, in volleyball and basketball, they have an A league and a B league. It helps kids compete at a developmentally appropriate level, which I know from personal experience is really important. I was on the B teams most of the time due to the fact that I developed slower than most people. However, that does not mean that I couldn't compete because I ended up playing college basketball for 4 years and doing quite well at the college level. Because I was able to still have fun competing against kids of my own development level instead of competing up against kids that beat me down or would make me have a tough situation, I was able to still enjoy the game at my development level, and it kept me interested in athletics. So personally, I believe in this system. The school likes the policy of GRCMS and agrees with it in this sense. And so we have enjoyed watching kids compete at this level. Doesn't mean it's always easy initially, but I can tell you from personal experience, sometimes it's the best thing for kids. Finally, no one is perfect in these situations. Our coaches care very deeply about this. I care very deeply about team formation, and we do the best that we can. We cannot predict how things will work out, but again, we do the best that we can to create teams that are fair and that honor the kids. Another thing to consider when doing team formation is club sports versus middle school. We do not have a policy that says you may only play one or the other. We're not a part of MHSAA athletics at the middle school level, so your student is allowed to play on a club team and on our school team. Our coaches want kids to be able to do both, play with club friends, but also play with school friends. So we work together. The biggest thing is that we communicate. It's important for coaches to know when kids will be at each place. And it's important for parents and kids to know that if they're going to miss practices, then they probably shouldn't play very much in the games. It's important to make a commitment to Grams Christian Middle and to be at as many practices as possible so that you can play in the games. It makes it really hard on coaches if players that are on club teams don't show up to practice and then their parents and the kids want a lot of playing time during the middle school, Grams Christian Middle School game. Please help our coaches with this situation and help your student understand that commitments are important to both, and sometimes we have to compromise, but we need to be sharing that with both. Thank you for helping us through that situation and helping us continue to make club sports and middle school sports work together for the best of our kids. Practices. It is our goal to get kids back to their families in time for dinner each night. That's not always possible for a variety of reasons, mainly because games happen in the evenings, and sometimes our coach schedules are a big factor in practice times due to the fact that they do this on a part-time basis. We want to work with them so that they can instruct your kids and mentor them, and so sometimes it means they have to have a different or a later practice time. As a main framework, 7th and 8th grade practice or play a maximum of 4 days a week, and the 5th and 6th graders practice and play a maximum of 3 days a week. Weather cancellations will come for practices or games will come from me or your coach, and sometimes both. So please look there first. If you have questions, please email coach right away, and we'll be in touch. The other great way to do it is, as I mentioned earlier, the GRCMS text hotline. If you want to be signed up for that list, text hotline to 84483. They do a great job of telling us when things are canceled due to weather. We do our best to cancel things by 2 p.m. in the school day so that kids have time to call home, arrange rides, let you know that they're going to be having a different situation after school. Unfortunately, sometimes it's later than that due to a storm sweeping in, and you know Michigan weather, it's hard to predict. So we do the best we can to do it by 2 p.m. If there is a snow day, please understand from the beginning that we will not have a practice or a game for middle school if there's a snow day. Even if things clear up, we just won't do it. It's part of our school policy. So on snow days, no practices and no games. Uniforms. It is a GRCMS policy that we are not responsible for lost, stolen, or damaged items. Those are responsible by the families and the students that attend here to take care of their items and be good stewards of them. But with that said, we provide a uniform for every sport that GRCMS sponsors. But sometimes we don't provide the complete uniform because it makes a little bit more sense for a family to purchase a portion of that uniform for personal use. A quick example of that would be socks in softball or baseball, or shorts in volleyball that you would wear for the games. So sometimes there is something that a family may have to purchase, but in general we provide the uniform for the kids and the families. At the end of the season, it's your responsibility to return the items to the coach in as close to the same quality as you received them. Lost or damaged items you will hear from the athletic department about, and we will ask you to pay a fee to get those replaced or fixed if that's the case. If for some reason they're not returned and they're not paid for, then we would not be able to allow your son or daughter to participate in the next Grandpa's Christian Middle School athletics season until that situation is remedied. So please, again, be good stewards of what we've been given and get those returned to us in as good a shape as possible so we can make the most of what we've been given. If you have questions or concerns about uniforms or lost or stolen items, feel free to email me. However, just remember that we're not responsible if something is lost or stolen or damaged. That is the responsibility of the family and the child. Thank you for watching today. We appreciate you being a part of our program and for contributing to our athletic community. We hope that this presentation was valuable for you. If you have any questions that you didn't get answered, please send me an email or give me a call. The best way to reach me is through email. It becomes my to-do list. And again, don't leave me messages on my office phone, as I'm between offices. It's just hard for me to get to them. Other than that, look forward to seeing you out there. Look forward to seeing you cheering on our kids with us. And please let me know if you have any feedback for me. Look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks a lot.